BBC Radio Berkshire Pulp Disco 2000. It's Kirsten O'Brien with you. How are you doing? Do you have a bucket list in life? We quite often talk about this, don't we? Of things that you want to achieve, things that you want to do, maybe something sort of far-flung, somewhere amazing that you want to go and see. Do you know exactly what's on it? Well, sometimes we do think that bucket lists have to have sort of huge things on them, huge adventures like skydiving, mountain climbing. But my next guest, Michelle Williams from Fleet, says we can find joy in just doing slightly simpler things. Michelle was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia last year and spent an entire year in hospital. Well, she's now put together this book with 200 little things to live for, and some of the money is going to the charity that helped match her to a stem cell donor for a transplant. Well, Michelle is here to tell me more. Hi, Michelle.
Hi there, Kirsten. Hi.
Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Tell me a little bit about your diagnosis then. Had you felt ill beforehand?
It was very sudden onset, to be honest. I'd felt completely fine, and then all of a sudden I started getting very, very out of breath, shortness of breath, just doing really simple things like going up the stairs. I'd go up the stairs and then I would have to go and lie on the bed because my heart was literally out of control, racing. And I probably just thought, oh, I've got a little bit, unfit. I'll try and go for a walk. So I remember kind of just trying to go and walk down to post a letter, which is literally kind of 2 minutes from my house. And there was a slight incline and it stopped me in my tracks. I literally couldn't walk anymore. So I called the GPs to try and get an appointment, and there weren't any for a couple of weeks. And it actually coincided with my birthday. It was my 56th birthday. So they'd said if it gets worse over the weekend to call 111. And so I went out for my birthday and went out to the cinema, and I literally could not get up the cinema steps. And that's when I knew something was seriously wrong. Consequently, I ended up in A&E, had my blood tests taken, and immediately I was put on blood transfusions and told, something was seriously wrong, which ended up being acute myeloid leukemia.
Gosh, and how quickly after you had the diagnosis then did things start to happen treatment-wise?
Very, very quickly. It's a very aggressive form of blood cancer. I believe kind of one of the most aggressive forms of blood cancer. So within 24 hours, the consultants were at the foot of my bed telling me that they suspected that I had some form of blood cancer, which would then have to be confirmed with a bone marrow biopsy. That was confirmed very quickly that I had acute myeloid leukemia, and the chemotherapy began, I believe, within a week, or certainly within 2 weeks, once they'd had all of the information that they needed back from the biopsy.
And I said you spent a year in hospital. That is a lot of thinking time, isn't it, to be in there? Did you know it was going to be that long?
They told me at the outset that it was going to be a real hard slog, a real battle, because with acute myeloid leukemia, you've not just got the cancer to deal with, but because you've got you're immunocompromised. Basically, they couldn't let me out of hospital because I was at risk of infections, and even something like a cold or something could prove fatal for somebody with acute myeloid leukemia. So I knew it would be, they said it would be maybe 6 months if it on a good journey. But unfortunately, after my first cycle of chemo, I was told the chemo hadn't worked, and I had something called refractory AML, which is basically means it's very aggressive and it wasn't responding to the chemotherapy. I also had 2 genetic mutations, which made it even more aggressive, and they had to then intensify my chemo to something even more toxic, basically. And I was told at that stage that my only chance of survival would eventually be to have a stem cell transplant because of how aggressive the cancer was.
Goodness me. Well, I want to continue the story and find out about the donor and how that all came about. And of course, the journal. We want to talk about that. So let's talk about that next on BBC Radio Berkshire. After Dusty Springfield, Son of a Preacher Man.
Billy Ray was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around and started talking, that's when Billy would take me walking. Out to the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. No matter how hard I tried, when he started sweet talking to me, he'd come and tell me everything is alright. He kissed and tell me everything is alright. Can I get away again tonight? The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Lord knows he was. Yes, he was.
BBC Radio Berkshire, it's Kirsten O'Brien. I'm talking to Michelle Williams, who has put together this bucket list journal, One Brave Life, it's called, after she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. And I want to get in as well to the stem cell donor that you eventually had. But tell me about this journal then. When did you have the idea for this, Michelle?
It was actually after I finally came home after my 12 months in hospital. And although obviously I was very, very grateful to have survived something that actually I didn't think I was going to, I also felt a little bit kind of lost because cancer changes you. The diagnosis like that really changes you. And also, because of the 12 months I'd spent in hospital, I'd lost my business. I couldn't continue working. So I came back and I had this question of who am I now and what am I supposed to do with my life? And I just felt that I needed to create some direction and some, a positive focus for myself. So I started kind of writing the things that I would like to do. And I'm not talking about big things because somebody with my diagnosis, I still have ongoing treatment. I'm still immunocompromised. I can't fly. I can't go out in public places. I can only do the little things. And I'm very conscious, there's quite a well-known quote. I can't remember the details of it, but it's, something along the lines of one day you'll look back and realize that, the big things were the little things, something along those lines. So I wanted to create a list of things that I could do because I want to live like each day is my last. I've still got a very uncertain future and I want to make the most of every day. And I also want to have the opportunity one day to meet my donor, hopefully, which I might have the chance to do in a couple of years, and actually say to him, thank you so much for what you've done for me. And I haven't wasted your stem cells because this is what I've been doing with my life. I created a list of things that I would like to do. And I suddenly had the idea, why don't I actually create this as a bucket list journal that I can self-publish on Amazon and, have available for other people. It's One Brave Life, a bucket list journal, and it's a guided journal to help you dream, plan, and live with joy after illness, loss, and life's hardest moments. And I know that this may benefit a lot of other people. So I just had the idea, why not create it as a product, put it on Amazon, but actually donate all of the sales royalties to Anthony Nolan, which is the charity that found my stem cell donor and saved my life. So it's become like a real passion project for me, a legacy project, my way of giving back, thanking the charity that saved my life, and also having the opportunity in 2 years to actually show this journal to my donor and say, look at all of these amazing things that I've been able to do thanks to you. This is the difference that you have made in my life.
And as you say, it is, I'm just looking now, as simple things as apologise to someone you've hurt, right through to something like visit the North Pole. It runs right across all the sort of possibilities for you. Are you ticking them off then? Do you know how many in you are to the 200?
Well, I literally only self-published this journal a couple of weeks ago. So it's gone a little bit crazy, but I'm starting with the little things, I may not get to do some of the big things, but really, the little things are important to me. So spending more time with my family, I've been separated from them for the past year. So I've got 2 sons, they're 23 and 27, but I want to do fun things with them. So at the weekend, I went and played foot golf with Elliot, who's my youngest son, and we just had the most amazing time. So, there's simple things that most people will be able to do, sit and watch a sunrise over the sea, or, just go and paddle in the sea. Having been isolated in hospital for so long, I missed being in nature so much. So it's just, just those simple things are the things that we all take for granted that really we should give so much thanks for.
That's so true. So you've got the suggestions at the start, and then you write your goal in, and there's space to put photos in, your steps, your actions to make it happen, why you want to do it, and there's tons of space in here for you to fill it out how you want to. And you mentioned as well about the donor. There's a QR code, isn't there, for Anthony Nolan Trust?
Yeah, absolutely. As well as this being something that you can use to dream and plan and create your own goals, tick off your own goals. It's primarily, for me, like, it's a fundraiser for Anthony Nolan. It's a way for me to raise awareness for this really, really important charity, but it's also a call to action. So that QR code is right at the beginning of the journal, right at the beginning of the book, to give everybody the opportunity to scan that code and join the register. You do have to be age 16 to 30 to join the register, but if you're over that age, but somebody that's within that age bracket, you point that journal at them, get them to scan the code, and they will get a swab kit sent to them. It's a simple swab of the inside of the cheek, send that off, and then you are on the register, and you've got the opportunity then of saving somebody's life, somebody like me, somebody's mum, could be somebody's mum, somebody's wife, sister, daughter, whoever it is. What an amazing gift that you can then give, to actually save somebody's life. Absolutely. And you mentioned that you're in contact with your donor, and the hope is to meet, is it, eventually? Yeah, so to start with, the donor has to remain anonymous. So all I know about this amazing human being is that he's a male. I know his age, and I know that he's from the UK. We're allowed to write to each other, but the hospital and the Anthony Nolan charity act as an intermediary. So I have written a letter expressing my thanks and gratitude to him, and I have received a letter back from him, which it was just joyous to receive. It felt like a love letter. I know it's not a love letter, but it felt that way because I have so much love, thanks and gratitude for this person and everything that he has done for me and my family and the people that I love.
Well, wishing you really good health, Michelle, and lots of these things ticked off on your journal. It's a wonderful idea. If you want to get hold of it, it's called One Brave Life, a bucket list journal. Is it on Amazon? Is that where you said?
It is on Amazon, yeah, One Brave Life, and that is available on Amazon.
Great to talk to you, Michelle. Thank you very much for your time this morning.